Hello everyone, welcome back. Please comment, rate, subscribe, folks. Comment, subscribe, like the videos. Also share the videos. I want to thank everyone that does like, watch, and share my videos. You folks are the absolute best. Listen folks, there's a link tree down below. Has the link to all of my social media platforms. Please go down there. Follow me across all my social media platforms and talk to me because I talk back. Also down there as well as links to all of my YouTube pages. Please go down there, subscribe to all my YouTube pages, and turn on your notifications so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Listen, folks, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'll be doing a live radio show right here on this channel. We'll be talking about the Jets. We'll be talking about the upcoming game, roster stuff, all of it. Call in. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. So with that said and done and put to the side, I've come to talk to you folks today about the New York Jets' upcoming game against the Buffalo Bills. Oh, yes, we're on the road again. Oh, how we love to be on the road again. All right. Listen, we're playing the Bills. We're going to their house. And this is another step, man. We want to continue to be, one of those teams, one of those top teams in the league to push forward. It starts with us taking care of stuff in our division. And this is a division rival. It's a team that is a very good football team in this league. And we've got to go in there and take care of business. So I'm going to start with the New York Jets offensive side of the ball when I talk about this game, all right? Now, the New York Jets starting up front already, all right? We already have some shuffling along our offensive line. Max Mitchell is now out for the season. He's dealing with a non-football injury. He's on the non-football injury list. When questioned about the non-football injury, Sulla did not want to disclose what it was, but he made it very clear that it was not football injury, all right? So with Max Mitchell going on, and he's out for the season, we now have George Fant, back starting at right tackle. Again, George Fant dealt with an injury. He was on IR for a little bit. He's come off IR, been activated. Now he's going to be out there at right tackle. Now, the thing about George Fant being out there at right tackle is the New York Jets have a flu bug flying around the facility, and they're dealing with a lot of things there. Guys are getting sick. Clemens, Reed, and Fant are dealing with the flu, dealing with the illness and being sick right now. So when you look at the situation, you're wondering, where's Fant gonna kind of be at this point? Because if he, if they're really getting sick and they're dealing with a lot of stuff, there's gonna be some issues. Hopefully, they're not getting too bad, too worse off the flu. It's not, the symptoms aren't too much, and they're gonna be able to be all right. But as of right now, he's gonna be starting right tackle, but he is dealing with the flu, so we'll see what happens going forward there with our offensive line, again, continuing to shuffle with the injury to Max Mitchell. Now, LDT as well, he was back. He was on the practice squad. He's been brought up to the active roster now with the departure of Max Mitchell on to, being done for the season. So LDT's on the active roster. It's good to have him back. Great quality offensive line depth for us. Now, with the shakeup along the offensive line, you got to wonder because the Bills, they bring pass rush. Von Miller, as we know, is dealing with that ACL injury. He's had ACL surgery, so he's done for the season. But they still got Rousseau. They still got Ed Oliver. They still got Milano, who's dealing with a knee injury, so he's questionable for this game. We'll see if he plays. But they got a host of guys that they can sit at you, bash him, all those guys, right? So we have to be very concerned about the protection for Mike White. We have to protect him adequately. This Bills defense and pass rush will absolutely eat you alive. We've seen it firsthand before, right? And I think a big way to really ease that pressure is running the football effectively. Michael Carter, he's back from that ankle injury. Good to see. Okay, good to see that he's back. There was a lot of questions for Sulla about Bam Knight. Michael Carter's back. What are you doing with Bam Knight? Is he going to go back to the practice squad? And Sulla said he's not going anywhere. So we'll see how they handle this running back situation going forward into this game as well. Because if you're saying that Bam Knight is not going to be, on the practice squad, then are you going Carter, Knight, Robinson? Are you going Carter, Knight, Johnson? Like, what are you doing here? Again, this year we've seen James Robinson be a healthy and active, and he was upset about that. He let it be known, hey, I'm going to keep working, but I want to play. I come here to play. So we'll see what happens. Again, Bam Knight, was our leading rusher in the last game. So we'll see how they handle the situation going forward. But this New York Jets running game has got to have an impact in this game. Again, Bam Knight was the leading rusher in the last game against the Vikings. But if you take away that 48-yard run, The long run that he had in the second half, our running game struggled most of the game. It really did. And that was what caused Mike White to have to throw the ball so much in that football game. This game, our running game must have an impact. We have got to start getting yards on the ground to make things a lot easier for Mike White and help continue furthering out the game plan as well. And when we talk about Mike White, he's got to get the ball out of his hands quickly in this game. Again, we saw a great game against the Bears, played extremely well against the Vikings, even after getting banged around, popped back up and showed the grit and the moxie that we all want to see out of, a New York Jets quarterback. But he's got to be very careful with the football in this football game. He's got to be, because the Bills got some ball hawks, man. Xavier Rhodes, Tre'Davious White, Poyer out there at safety. Now, Hyde is dealing with the neck injury. He's on the IR for them. But they got DeMar Hamilton out there. This is a secondary that will take the ball away if you get careless with it. You throw the ball behind guys, you're late on routes, that's said and done, and they'll be going the other way with the ball. Easy picks, stuff like that. So Mike White has to just continue to be careful with the football, be very concise with his decisions, get the ball out of his hands quickly, and make it happen. Now, I'm a little concerned because in this football game, we all know the Bills can get pressure with their front four. I'm very sure they're going to try to clog that intermediate to short throws, and they're going to say, hey, Mike White, beat us deep. Let's see what you can do. Garrett Wilson, that's when his name has got to be called. Garrett Wilson had 162 yards last game. There was a couple shots that Mike White just missed him on that were deep. They've got to connect with those shots in this game because I think that they will be there. I also want to see Elijah Moore implemented a little bit better within the game plan. There's a lot of calls that go towards Berrios, a lot of play calls as far as screens, end arounds, and stuff like that. Phenomenal. Braxton Berrios, great wide receiver. But Elijah Moore is unbelievable. A lot of those calls, screens, end arounds should go to Elijah Moore. They should. Okay, this guy's got an immense amount of talent, so we should be able to utilize him. I also want to see our tight ends utilized a bit better as well within the game plan. Mike LaFleur's got to clean it up, especially in the red zone. He's got to clean it up as well. That killed us in the last game. You got to implement these guys a lot better, man. We should see C.J. Uzomah and Tyler Conklin in the red zone early and often, man. It's just going down the field. We got these two big weapons, and we don't utilize them much. It's just ridiculous. So I want to see our tight ends be more part of the game plan, and I want to see our red zone play calling be much better than it was against the Vikings. Now, you go to the defensive side of the ball. New York Jets have got to get some pass rush on Josh Allen. We've seen what happens when you do that. Turnovers. That's why we got a lot of turnovers in the first game. We were after him. He was feeling haggard. He was making bad decisions. He was getting guys, that were hitting him constantly. We've got to continue that type of attitude. Get physical with him early and often. Now, keep in mind, he's a runner. Don't lose your lanes on him, because if you do, we all know he's a big dude. He'll take off, and he'll take on a linebacker. He don't care. Shoulder down. He'll try to run you over too. Be very careful. When he takes off, we got to rally to the ball and get after him, because he will try to run through you. He's big enough to do that. We've got to get turnovers. Again, our defensive line has been phenomenal this season. Quinnen Williams, I think, has 9 sacks now. He's been unbelievable, playing very dominant. He's got to continue that. You look at the Bills' offensive line as well. They're dealing with injuries. Dawkins, is dealing with the injury right now. So is Morris. He's dealing with the elbow injury as well. So those two guys are questionable. They could be playing also without their 2 starting offensive linemen there. So we'll see what happens going forward. But the key of the day is get after Josh Allen with our front four. We must get pressure on him. We must. The other matchup I'm looking at for us defensively, Reed and Sauce versus Diggs and Gabe Davis, man. Listen, Reed and Sauce played very well against Thielen, Justin Jefferson. We made their days tough, played really good. Here we got, again, Diggs, we're facing up against him again, and Gabe Davis, a very talented wide receiver. I want to see if we're going to be able to shut those guys down as well, which I think we will. We have the talent. We saw that last game. So another big concern I have as well with the Bills when facing them is Singletary. This guy comes out the backfield, and man, he could be a hassle. We saw that last game when we played them. He was coming out the backfield, getting a lot of easy catches, being able to scoot forward, help move the chains. We've got to shut that down. Our linebacker core is going to be tested. C.J. Mosley, Quincy Williams, Quan Alexander. We have to make sure that we keep Singletary in our sights. Do not let this guy take off and get rolling. So with that said, I'm going to take the Bills to win this game. 23-20. 23-20, I'm taking the Bills. Our offensive line shuffling again is really concerning to me. I think we play well, but we just don't connect enough and make enough plays. I don't think it's a game where we just get smoked or nothing like that. But I think it's close and we fight all the way to the end, but we just fall short. That's what I think is going to happen. So comment down below. Let me know what you folks think. How do you folks feel about this upcoming game against the Bills? What are your thoughts about the New York Jets offensive line, Max Mitchell, being done for the season? What are your thoughts on Mike White? What are your expectations for him in this upcoming game? What are your thoughts about Carter being back? How do you feel about our defense? How do you think we match up with Diggs and Gabe Davis? Do you think Sauce is going to be able to shut these guys down? And do you think our pass rush is going to be able to get after Josh Allen? Comment down below. Let me know what you folks think. You folks have a good one. Peace.